Did I say $15 million? $15 million? Yes. It is another episode of Hashtag On Point with Dr. Pam, and it is my pleasure to bring to you today Melinda Burkhart, who has spent more than 20 years in healthcare, generated more than 15 million in her own practice, has a master's degree, and now serves people in a much needed space in coaching, MelB Coaching. Melinda, I want to welcome you. It's an honor to have you here. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me on your show.
Thank you. And listen, I want everyone to know that, we have affectionately been calling her MelB, and I think people in your world have been doing that. Is that true?
Yes. My name, as you can see, is Melinda Burkhart, and Melinda is a bit long. Mel is a great shortening of my name, and to separate me out from all the different Mels that might be out there, the Melissas, the Melanies, MelB just stuck, and it was given to me from one of our mentors, my mentor, and it stuck, and it's easy, and I love it.
I love it. Is that the mentor that I've worked with as well?
Yes.
Yes. He's a significant mentor. Okay, more on that later. That's not the point of our show. All right, so Melinda, tell us a little bit. I know you have your master's degree. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Oh, I would love to. So my journey started in healthcare. So I originally started in an acute setting where I worked with brain injury patients. And in that setting, the trauma is significant to the family, right? There's a family member who is doing great one day, and let's say they get in an auto accident and they're now in a coma. That is a huge trauma for anybody. So I was thrown into not only helping to care for the patient, but also counseling the family in a very significant time of their life. So through the years, I have learned and developed different strategies to help people. And I went from acute rehab. I've worked in subacute rehabs. I have worked in the school districts. I have worked in nonprofits. I have worked with for-profits. I have worked with kids and parents. And now I'm still in healthcare, and I have added a coaching modality, a coaching piece to the umbrella of what I do, because I see such a need, especially now in these times, to really support people and to realize that they've got everything they need inside them to weather the worst storms. Sometimes they just need help finding it.
Yeah. And especially, okay, so that, that leads me to our current times, right? And in that coaching space, because your practice was and is so significant, and your degree and your background and your hands-on experience helping families, I feel compelled to have you go into a little bit of your most recent program, Joyfully Different Parenting. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, that is a compilation of the different programs that I've been trained in as a coach. So as a life coach, as a transformational coach, I've been trained in different modalities. One of them being Neuro-Linguistic Processing, which takes how you think about things from a linguistic standpoint, from the words you use, what's going on in your head, as well as other coaching modalities that work on behavior, habits, things like that. I've taken what I've learned there and what's been successful with people from those areas, looking at mindfulness practices, looking at positive psychology practices. One of my trainings is in Clarity Catalyst, and that's based from a Stanford University's master's degree program targeting emotional intelligence and mindfulness practices. So I've taken like a compilation of all of those coaching learnings that I've used, as well as real life, everyday, what's been working with the families that I've been working with, and combining those to this new program that is really supporting parents who have children who are differently abled, children who
And
are
I got to
truck
say something, one thing. If you are out there and you don't understand everything Melinda says about the training and why it's significant, the most important thing for all of you to understand is MelB Coaching. Because of her training and her decades of experience, she helps people, individuals, and families have results to improve their lives. And so if you're like me, I know very little about NLP, full disclosure, but MelB is the person to work with. Now, MelB, I know I didn't mean to interrupt. Go on to Joyfully Different Parenting, because the families have been so stressed during the pandemic. And if you're a family of differently abled children, there are other needs, significant needs. So tell us about this most recent program for your coaching and families.
Okay, so this program really targets the parent, because we all know that as parents, if our bucket is not full, we cannot fully provide for our kids. We cannot fully provide for our spouse or the rest of our family if there's multiple kids. So what this really does is it allows the parents to really become aware in a non-judgmental, in a fun, loving way, to realize and become aware of what's going on. And then with that awareness, they're able to step back and say, oh, that's the trick. That's what's been missing, or that's how I can change. Because without awareness, there's no ability to change, right? We have to look at it and separate it out from ourselves and say like, oh, that's what's been going on. Oh, okay, now that I'm looking at it from over here, this new perspective, given this new perspective, I can now respond instead of react. I can respond in an intentional way that not only supports my child, but supports me. Everything is based on a loving environment. And believe me, I know sometimes that is like you're thinking, you are insane. There's no way. And I'm here to tell you there is a way. And the tools that you get in this program are the tools that you will need to be able to take that step back, to reframe whatever is going on, and know that you as a parent got this. And
Yeah, you got this. And they're happier. The parents are happier. The children are happier. And we need more happiness. And so your simple steps, right? Your simple steps, I don't know. Is it accurate to say it can set people free?
Yes, it can set people free, because free from the stress and free from the anxiety and free from the worry, because really that's the key, right? When we're worrying about stuff, when we're anxious about things, we may not even realize it, but we're putting out all that angst into our into our lives, into our household, and the kids feel it. Kids, more than anything, they've got radar on them and they know exactly what you're feeling, whether or not you say a word, and they know buttons to push. Right? They're masters at that, right? Oh, mom's a little off today. I think I'm gonna push her buttons. Right. And this will allow you to be able to be less reactive, right? And not to say that you're not going to fall off the truck, yeah, that we're human beings. Welcome to being human. It happens, right? But the reality is that with these tools, the more you use them, when you fall off the truck, you'll be able to bounce back faster. You'll be able to get back on and get aligned with who you really want to be as a parent. Right? We don't want to snap at our kids. I mean, there are times, right, where we're just like thinking about work, about all the medical appointments coming up, the bills, whatever. Something happens and wham, you're snapping at your kid for no reason. Right. Really, I mean, what they did was not a big deal. And you're just like exploding on them. Or maybe it's your spouse. But that's not what, I want to be. I don't want to be an explosive person, right? I want to be loving to my child. I want to be loving to my family and my brother and my husband and my friends. So this is what these tools allow, right? You can take that deep breath, go into your tool bag, pull something out that is an immediate fix. And then there's other tools that are longer fixes, because these tools are things you can use and learn and integrate into your daily life so that you can use them whenever. At work, you can use it. You can use it with your kid. You can use it in the supermarket. You don't have to be alone in your house in a room with a candle.
Right. That's right. Because it needs to be practical. And then when these tools help people, I would love to believe that you're reducing the number of people and families because from moving from unmanaged stress to anxiety, because unmanaged stress leads to anxiety. So I would imagine that the families you hear from are very grateful that you've helped them with some simplicity, right? Tools that work.
Yes.
Now is there anything else you want to say about that for the parents?
Well, this is something that's very physiologically based, right? When we're stressed.
So that means in the body, right?
In the body. When we're stressed, our bodies are, remember back in the caveman days, our bodies don't know, our brains don't know, like, this year versus back when, the saber-toothed tigers were around, right? So when we're stressed, when we're feeling anxious, cortisol, that stress hormone, is pumping through our bodies, and we are in a fight or flight reaction state, whether we realize it or not.
Right.
And so that just creates this, when we have it constantly, it's like this fear, this anxiousness. It can turn into depression. It can turn into all these like negative emotions, right? So what these tools allow is an increase in serotonin, which is the stress reduction. It's the happy hormone. So it's really what we feel creates hormones, right? And then from those hormones, from just being human beings and being mammals, right, we have certain behaviors and certain reactions. If we change that, which we can, when we are intentional with how we're thinking, with what we're doing and how we're seeing things, we can reduce the cortisol levels. We can increase the serotonin levels, leaving our bodies in a calmer state and allowing us to respond intentionally to what's going on around us.
Right. And that, if we all can have less stress immediately through some of the tools that MelB shares with her clients, that's a gift. In these times, prior to the pandemic, people were stressed prior to the pandemic. I'm sure it's greater now, but your tools are, I would say, timeless. In other words, they can help people at any time, but especially now, it's so important how you serve people in your coaching. Now, listen, MelB also has Frazzled to Fabulous. Now, come on, who doesn't love that? Right? Her program, her 90-day coaching program. Tell us about that, MelB.
So that program I just love because anybody who is feeling stressed or feeling stuck, or just knowing that they're not quite where they want to be, whether it's in their personal life or their job, and they want to just get rid of the overwhelm. This program really targets what the client's goals are. So we, in detail, go with what the client's goals are. And again, it's non-judgmental, because I am not here to hammer anyone, right?
Mm-mm.
But in order to make this a transformative program, I am able to really work one-on-one with people and help them see what they're doing and where they can make the changes. And we make consistent changes every week, and they're supported to make those changes, right? I support them in our coaching calls. They have access via text. If there's anything major that happens, we can hop on a quick call with them. So, and this really targets habit change, because that's what it is. We get into our routines. And when we're stressed, that is what human beings do. When we are stressed, we go back to what's comfortable. And what's comfortable is what we know. Well,
And that doesn't necessarily serve us,
right? Wasn't working for us, right? How is that working for you? So this program really targets that shift from what we know and what's comfortable to where we want to be. And
that's a beautiful title, Frazzled to Fabulous. And listen, I think all of you who tune in weekly on #OnPoint with Dr. Pam know that all coaches are not created equal. Their backgrounds, their decades of experience, their success. And MelB is a coach that I think you can tell she really serves her clients. And in Frazzled to Fabulous, she meets you where you are. She wants you to get the results that will serve you best in your own life. And that's, MelB, it is an honor to know you, my friend. An honor.
Thank you.
Now, listen, tell us what are some things that just really, bring you so much joy and passion?
I love helping people. I, come from a family of teachers. I'm adopted myself. I met my birth family. They come from a family of firefighters.
Oh, wow.
So, it's just like,
they know something about stress, MelB.
So it's in my blood. I really feel it's in my blood to help people. And the best joy I get is when somebody gets the change, and their face lights up, and it's beautiful. That right there is just priceless, because that frees them in a way that just allows them to be their better selves. And for me, I know what it's like to be weighed down, and just through, things that I've personally been through, the various traumas and whatnot, I know like how freeing that is. And there's nothing more in life that I want than to pass that forward and have other people feel that and know that they can step into whatever they want. There's nothing holding them back.
Wow. And I know that never gets old. So when people get it and they have the aha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes me feel like I'm floating on cloud 9.
Right. And it reminded me of what you said earlier about Catalyst in Stanford, that program. Right. And so I think MelB beautifully and how shall I say, without judgment, meets her clients where they are in order to help them be the best version of themselves so that they feel better and live better.
That's my intent. That's my goal in life, is just to, through everything I've been through, my mission now is to help people who are ready for that change to just get rid of their limiting beliefs, whatever those are, whether it's about what kind of parent they are, what kind of woman they are, what kind of whatever, wherever they are, to meet them where they are, help them get rid of all those untrue limiting beliefs, step into their passions, step into their joys so that they're free to do whatever they want. That is my mission.
And listen, that's a beautiful on point with Dr. Pam. Are you ready for change? Are you ready to work with one of the best human beings I know with MelB Coaching? Her background, her experience, it's significant. And her heart will really, if you allow it and work with her, she'll help you change your life. Because the people are doing the work, but you're setting them up for so much success. And if anyone wants to reach out to MelB, you certainly can text or call her. We've shared the website as well. Any final words? What do you want to share with us, MelB? Anything?
I just appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you helping me spread the word. And for people to realize that this is something that is so doable, is so attainable. And if you're stuck, there is a way out. If you feel in a rut, you can get out of that rut. And some people just need a little guidance. And if that's where you want, if you want to make those significant changes in your life, if you want to get out of that rut, if you want to experience like the passion and joy you know you have and you want, but you just can't see a way to get there, then these programs are for you for sure.
So you guys make sure to reach out to MelB if you want to move from frazzled to fabulous. And MelB, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you today.